Hey, what up, everybody out there? This is Duran again. I got one off the cuff. Sunny Sunday, July 27th, out walking Thor. Um, Back from a little bit of a road trip this weekend. Got to do a little bit of camping. And, what comes with camping is a little bit of relaxing when you're not trying to put things back in order, you know, because it can't be just all sun and fun. Sometimes you get a rain cloud that comes in and you need to readjust. So that might require you to go indoors, find something else to do. Um, as you got to transfer expectations of fun from what you had in mind to, what's currently available here at the time. And that can be tough and challenging, especially when you're trying to convince an 8-year-old of what his boundaries and limits might be. But one of the things that we got to do that I enjoyed was watching a movie, old movie. He chose the movie. I think he recognized the face, or maybe he just saw, young black man. He wanted to check it out. It was, wait for it, Drumline featuring Nick Cannon. And, I don't know what kind of rating it gets on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. But for me, maybe the first time I watched it all the way through in 20 plus years, I got a little something from it. Some teachable moments. And why was it enjoyable for me? Well, because, like I said, the teachable moments, things that I could share with a young, fresh, innocent, impressionable mind that's trying to deduce, how to perceive complex situations. He might ask a question, or I might just pause at different points of the film, just be like, oh, what do you think's going on here? Or like, oh, what do you think's about to happen? Or why do you think he's so upset? Because by doing that, it kind of prompts his mind to consider what's going on with the character. And it also helps me to understand, like, where he might, what his level of comprehension is, how he might see himself within that, how he sees what's taking place. Because, as with most things in life, it's a nested reality. There's truths within truths. You might provide an answer to something, but it's like, it's true. It's not wrong, but there might be a deeper or greater truth another level down. And that's why it's interesting to do that kind of stuff. So just moving along, if you're not familiar with the film, you got a young, leave it alone, Thor. You got a young black character who's, it seems like he was able to achieve his high school graduation without the presence of his father. That's a whole totally different topic. But fast forwarding through that, what I'm kind of talking about is the fact that he had a significant gift and talent for music, rhythm, because he was a drummer. He was able to grab them drumsticks and drum like no other. Little drummer man, right? Little drummer boy. But when it came time for him to learn some more music, he wasn't able to read the sheet music because he never actually knew how to read music. Yet he became a part of a college, band program on the strength that he knew how to do those things. So I guess it was kind of revealed in that moment of time that he lied on his application. He didn't really know what he was talking about. He didn't know how to do those things. So in that moment, he had an opportunity to do something. He could either be highly offended, because he's like, well, hey, I might not be able to read that sheet music, but I'm the best drummer that you got. Like, I threw down on the halftime show. Your director was saying, I want to have him be a part of the next ensemble that you do. And if you don't, we're going to cut funding on your program. It was that kind of thing. So he's feeling some type of way about himself, ego and all, that he should be the bright shining star. But what he failed to see was that he needed greater development. He needed more development to hone his craft, to discipline himself, to study and learn and show himself approved, so to speak, which is what the band director sent him off to do. He signed him up for a bunch of courses where it would be required for him to learn how to read sheet music, which was, his blind spot, a deficit that he had, an area that he had failed to develop in and of himself, to be able to not only achieve at a high level, which he had already been able to do because of his talent, but he needed to be able to remain on that high level after he developed more of his character. And ain't that true for us all? So that's why I said it was a good teachable moment. I think that there was a message there that was worth talking about. That's why, I brought it to the table here for Off the Cuff, because I think, I jotted this down in my notepad, but, basically one of the many great tragedies in human behavior at this point in humanity is to not accept a new, relevant, higher truth on in exchange for, for the fact that you want to still be right about something. You know, people like the character in the movie, they want to act tough. They want to act like they already got it all together. They want to act like, yo, you can't teach me nothing new. I got this. I'm good. But if the Bible can tell a story about a man named Balaam that could, get something direct from the Creator through the mouth of a donkey, who in the world are we to sit here and think that we can't learn from one another? Because oftentimes, if the truth, if the revelation isn't sparked within ourselves, then it comes from an outside source. That's why, it's iron that sharpens iron. That's why it requires a common unity with others to check your blind spots, to reveal to you what you might not be able to see yourself. Again, the Gospels talk about the parable of the speck and the plank. You want to sit there and talk about, hey, I see that little thing over there. Don't you see that? But they could be like, yo, don't you know you got a whole type of plank coming out of your eye right now? How do you not see that? So it's the hypocrisy of it all. So that's what I'm saying. One of the tragedies is that when someone brings something to your attention, are you receptive to that? Or are you quick to deny its possibility of having any relevance on the strength that, you get to be right? Like, hey, you can't tell me nothing. I got this degree. You can't tell me nothing. Don't you know what, title I have at the industry? You can't tell me nothing. Didn't you just fail such and such last week? Those are the things that we tell ourselves to deflect, to deny, to, basically guard and protect ourselves from going up the next rung in the ladder because, we feel like we're safe right there where we are. And in comes a new reality from another source to humbly try to teach you, reach you, and show you, nah, there's a little more to this. So if you're willing to receive, here, let me teach you, let me show you, let me share with you. And you got to be able to have the heart to accept that. And what 2 Timothy talks about, it would be a proud, boastful generation, lovers of selves in the latter time. So I think we already there. We're on the pulse of that right now. And been there. So, I'm the first one to admit that, again, I can only share my truths, right? So I'm the first one to admit that when we got to the campground, I already looked at the map. I knew where our lot was located. Yet, because of the shape and the orientation of the lot and what was on the map and what I saw as far as the other neighbors nearby, it just looked really weird to me. And I could not quickly assess what was going to be the best approach for pulling into the campsite. So there was a guy that was already there, him and his family, and he offered some advice. I was yielding, and willing to accept. And by doing that help that was offered in that time that I had need, I was able to shave a lot of precious minutes off of, what's a routine set up at the campground. He just said, hey, you should come in from this direction, you should come in at this angle, and I can help you. And he did just that. And I ain't too proud to beg for, oh, good look. I appreciate that. It was very helpful. And I was grateful for that. So not only because of myself and our family, but because that shows hopefully an example to our son that it's okay to say you ain't got it all together. It's okay to say I can use a little help. It's okay to be like, man, I thought I had this all together, but do you see another way? Can you provide a solution? Because I can't quite see around this corner. It's that basic, that simple. Hopefully this has been helpful, beneficial to you. I try to add value because there's value that's been added to me, and I'm just trying to pass it along. Try to flatten the curve of grasping greater intelligence. So God bless you. Thank you for listening. This is Duran Off the Cuff. Peace.